going. Have a seat.
The video's going?
Please tell me you're gonna edit it.
Oh, I think we.
I just have to
Do that. Put it in my pocket.
You can sneak it.
Okay, here's what I'm looking
Just
for.
look at the camera the
Okay.
whole time.
Okay. No eating. Are you serious? We'll sneak it.
Hey guys, you gotta get your bags off the table.
We'll sneak it.
I know, knock it off.
Okay, there are going to probably be times during this that I'm going to ask for somebody to work the problem on the board to explain it, so I'm going to look for volunteers. So we'll see, okay, but some of you can do this.
Can we wink at you if we know how to do it?
Yeah, we'll see. And,
Oh, wait, so you
I
can't.
just,
Don't holler in the video, really.
okay, I'll try not to holler it and ruin it. Ruin it. But listen, if you're supposed to be texting, then text. Is there anybody that doesn't have a phone to text?
Oh, me.
We all use their phones?
You don't have one, Stanton?
Mine's back there. Church.
Can you get it?
Yeah.
Just act like you are. Just act like you are.
Where's the camera? Oh,
Okay, so I had a great video first period, like probably the best one I could probably ever get, but I just put it on my computer and it's like, there were several kids at the board that came here to work problems and the video stops like right here. You can't see any of this stuff. So I reset it up this time so that hopefully we can proceed and Stan's getting in there.
Stan might have to move up here.
Stan, move
It's
over
Cece's birthday.
here. Even if I miss you.
So can I move back to where I used to sit?
No, sit right here. Or you can sit there if your phone, if that helps you with your phone. Okay. All right. I think we can probably see everybody now. Got everything going good. Okay.
Hold on, this one we're ready to go.
Okay. So make sure you've got your review out. Make sure you've got a calculator technique. Here's what I'm doing. Here's what I'm looking for. We're going through these reviews on fairly quickly because you should already have answers.
Right.
What I'm going to keep a record of is percentage that getting it correct. If that percentage concerns me, if we've got 100% getting it correct, then that's probably not one we're going to focus on tomorrow. But if I've got a question like earlier today, I had a question that only 44% was getting it correct. Well, that's something that I need to spend a little bit more time on. There was some kind of misconception, and there's several things in this that, as we go through, I'll explain a little bit more what I'm looking for.
We need to get paper out to work.
No, there should be enough room on your.
Hey, are you gonna say when to start? Because
I will.
alright, I'm gonna be confused if you start it and accidentally say something that you get mad.
No, well, I'm just gonna pretend like I'm starting. Here's what I need 10 minutes, okay? And so if we'll just behave the whole time, then I can pick the 10-minute section that I want to use. So if you
Let's start at 12:15. And go to 1.
That's what I was gonna say.
12:15, go to 1. Everybody be on their best behavior.
12:45.
If I can be on my best behavior.
12:15 to 1, that's 45 minutes. 12:45.
50.
Oh, you need 10. I need 15.
Okay.
I think 12:15 already passed.
Now, we can't do any computer issues.
Hey, no eating, Chris.
Put it up, chill out.
So try 12:15.
Oh, I'm still waiting.
I'm working on my calculator. Kobe. Should put us called. They might actually win. Just
It's not very nice.
I know,
Right? Well, don't be texting
very
your
nice.
class now.
No,
Whatever we start is. They'll be Instagramming.
I'm not.
Facebook.
Yeah, I should have done that last time whenever I got that M1 layup.
What happened? You got a one-handed layup?
No, I got an M1 layup, but I had my elbow in the rim whenever he fouled me, and I totally shouldn't have done it, but I did it.
What's an M1 layup?
You get
He
fouled,
fouled,
you
he
make
made
the
the
shot.
shot.
Did y'all win last night?
No. Were you expecting John Burrow to?
I mean, we were down by 4 in third place going to the fourth quarter, and then they screwed us over. We
Yeah.
lost by 18, but the foul count at the end of the first half last night was 18-6. They shot
Wow.
7 free throws.
Wow.
That's how we were.
And Coach Bridges came in and said, "Well, guys, prepare for Friday." I was like, "Wow, Craig knows that."
That's what he said.
Yep. And he was like, he came in there and was like, prepare for Friday, come out at 5. We went to the office.
That was what he said at halftime?
Yep. He's really good motivating us.
Dude, I get these pictures.
That would work in football. Because it just piss you off and make you want
Hit somebody.
to. Yeah. Basketball, no. You gotta.
Gotta have some strategy. And that's the thing with Cabot, like, we're not gonna be faster. Or probably not gonna be better than most of the teams that we play.
Well,
We have to be smart.
Number 10 is Corona Ross, and he's gonna beat one.
Is that who was here watching him? I saw that they had some first graders here.
Yeah, he had like 20 points last night, like 12 assists, and like 2 rebounds.
Who was here scouting?
What's that,
Last time we played North Little Rock here, Kentucky was here.
who's that, on that, Mark Buffalo just said it was Olympic gold medalist, what's his name?
I'll check Twitter, but I'm not allowed to.
I'll figure out who that's wrong. Okay, so we're gonna go through this. I just need you to talk when it's time to talk and listen when it's time to listen.
Will you give me a
You want to
script?
bring my oral communication skills in here?
Did you print scripts?
Look at the
To
camera.
be or not to be?
Look at the
Oh, wait,
camera.
one sorry. I got so red last year reading. Oh, we have 2 minutes.
Okay, better get start getting ready. Okay, our first question we're gonna look at, and we're gonna move quickly through these first few because these should just be pretty quick to answer, and then it gets to some that are a little bit more difficult. So we have computer issues. -5 plus 3i plus 9 plus 3i, and I'd like you to vote in your answer. You should have your answer already worked out on your paper. We're starting. We are starting. Go ahead and vote in your answer. Let's see if we agree or if we're having any issues here.
Wait, we texted him,
I should really say this.
Looks like we're getting pretty good response on that one. Okay, any questions about number 1? What you have to do here, Michael?
Just type in your calculator.
You can type in your calculator. What's another option? Can't do FOIL. No.
You combine like
just
items.
combine like terms. It's just added. When would you use FOIL?
When they're mobile.
Okay, good. All right. Well, where's mine? That's not good. Number 2. Take your answer for number 2 and vote it in, please. 8 plus 5i times 4 minus 6i. This would be distributive property problem. Using a distributive property, you can solve, or simplify, I should say. 8 plus 5i times 4 minus 6i.
Uh-oh. You voted B.
I've gotten that in every class so far. And we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
I just typed in.
Oh. Yeah. What if we typed in the wrong one?
You have your stuff with you?
No, I was gonna dive first.
Okay, I'll give you that.
It's just like,
Well,
literally one problem. It's like one problem.
Huh?
It's like a big problem.
I'm video for that. Which is why. Okay, the answer is C. If you answered B, are you willing to explain? There were several people who answered B.
I know why.
Did anybody explain why? Do you know why?
An I squared turns into an actual number.
Right. You see where it's negative 30i squared minus 28i plus 32? I squared is negative 1. So negative 30i squared becomes positive 30. And when you combine positive 30 with positive 32, you get 62 minus 28i. So the answer simplified is C. B's getting there, it just can be simplified a little bit farther. Questions about that? Okay, we may look at one of those tomorrow. All right, number 3, vote your answer in for a division problem. 8 plus I divided by negative 4 minus 5i. 8 plus I. What are you going to need to solve this problem?
You're gonna have to common denominator.
Not discriminant, in other words.
Or the
What?
Does that with R?
No?
what?
What's it start with? What are you going to multiply by?
The bottom. That bottom.
You just
You flip, it'll be negative 4 plus
You
5.
vote.
It's going to be negative 4 plus
Yeah.
5i. What do we call
Isn't that
that?
what a discriminant is called?
No,
So
that's
after
Conjugate.
Conjugate.
Oh.
That's the word. Okay, well, let's talk about, let's stop here for a second. We got the conjugate, I heard that word. I heard discriminant. What else did somebody say?
I said reciprocal.
Reciprocal. All right, let's talk about these words. Anybody say something different?
Isn't discriminant just a denominator?
No, I heard denominator.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about anybody know what one of these words means?
The denominator is the bottom one,
The bottom of what?
the fraction.
Conjugate is the bottom of
Conjugate
fraction.
is the,
Flipped sign.
Doesn't have to be the bottom, because you can have a conjugate, like if you have a square root equation, you can multiply by its conjugate to try to cancel the radical. So it doesn't have to be on the bottom.
So it's the equation of the part of the radical.
What do you flip?
The second.
It's just going to be,
I don't know how to put it.
I'm trying to think of a really good way to put it. You're going to take the expression and you're going to change it from plus the second number to minus the second number, or from minus the second number to plus the second number. So it'd be A plus B and A minus B are conjugates. So here we have negative 4 minus 5i. So the conjugate of that would be negative 4 plus 5i.
Why do you not change to negative 4?
It just stays the same. I didn't change it here. It went from A to B plus B to A minus B. And if you try to distribute or use FOIL, if I change the negative 4 as well, the outers and the inners wouldn't cancel each other out. So that would give us a problem. All right, what's the discriminant? Question number 9 on your review asks you to find the discriminant and figure out how many solutions you have. So what is the discriminant?
Discriminant is inside the, or isn't it just above the division? Or is it inside the square root?
Underneath the square root. What goes underneath the square root? In the quadratic formula.
Is it b squared minus 4?
That's the discriminant. Why is the discriminant helpful?
Don't know.
Okay, it's going to go underneath the radical in the quadratic formula. Negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4a over 4ac over 2a. If what's underneath that radical is negative, then you're going to be plus the square root of a negative, which is going to be an I number, right? And minus the square root of a negative, which is also going to be an I number. So if the discriminant is negative, you're going to have two imaginary solutions, because it'd be a plus a negative square root and minus a negative square root. If the discriminant is positive, you're going to have two real solutions. They may be rational numbers or they may be irrational numbers, but it's going to be a plus the square root of a positive and minus the square root of a positive. Please use your phone for voting. All right, and then if you have 0, it would only be one real solution, because it'd be plus the square root of 0 and minus the square root of 0. All right, what's the reciprocal? Last thing.
You flip the signs and then put it either over.
You don't have to flip the signs.
Don't flip the signs.
It's just you just flip the fraction.
Well, yeah.
Usually when we've done reciprocals, it's probably when you're studying the equations of lines and you're talking about parallel lines and perpendicular lines. And perpendicular lines are opposite reciprocals. So you do flip the sign and flip the fraction, because you have to have the opposite reciprocal, not just the reciprocal. Okay, so that's here you would have to distribute and simplify, and all of you guys got this one right. is negative 37 over 41 plus 36 over 41i. Okay. Number 4. I to the 32nd power. You can use your clock on your desk.
Is there a clock up there?
Okay. It is 1. I to the first is I squared is negative 1, I cubed is negative I to the fourth is 1, and then it starts again, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I to the 32nd, since that's a multiple of 4, we're going to be 1. Number 5. 3i to the 5th. Alright, it's 243i. I only have 6 people voting. 9. You good with that one?
Yeah, I don't think out there is. As I said, I don't think mine's going through.
What? In this class, 12, it's 13, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. Okay, number 6. X squared minus 4x minus 12. Didn't tell me how I had to solve it, so you can use any method here. X squared minus 4x minus 12 is equal to 0. Use any method you want to solve this. You can. What's the methods we've got? Quadratic formula, completing the square. You can use the calculator in a few different ways. You can use, you can graph it to find the zeros, right? Okay. You can also factor. This particular one is easily factored. Okay, we're going to work on completing the square because that is important. If on your test it says solve by completing the square, I expect you to show me completing the square in order to get credit. The answer will not be enough. I want to make sure that you can solve these in multiple ways.
Can you work on that?
I can. Alright, we've got, some people said negative 6 and 2, and most people said 6 and negative 2. The answer is B, it's 6 and negative 2. Anybody solve this using a method we have learned? Okay. Let's say we factor it. How does x squared minus 4x minus 12 equal 0 factor?
It's negative 6 and positive 2.
Set both of those equal to 0. Solve them. So it's positive 6 and negative 2. To make sure your answers are correct, go back and plug them in and make sure does it really equal 0 when you plug those in.
What?
Number 6.
I know, but what way?
Factoring it. You can't, I can. Alright, to complete the square, you take your constant and move it to the other side. So where this is minus 12, it moves over here, it becomes 12. That's the step 1. Step 2, take half of b, square it, and add those sides. So half of -4 is -2. When you square it, it becomes a +4. So add that to both sides. This side should factor. This will be x minus 2 squared.
Wait. How'd you get the one?
Take half of b, so that'd be -2. Square it and add it to both sides. You have to add it to both sides so that it's still equivalent. Now you square root both sides. When there's a positive and a negative square root. Alright, so x minus 2 equals 4, and x minus 2 equals -4. And those are your two answers if you add 2 to both sides. Alright, I'm going to look for a volunteer to do the next one, which says solve by completing the square. Solve by completing the square. Who wants to do that one on the board?
I volunteer.
Okay.
Can I bring up paper?
Wait, how'd you get the x minus? Wait, do you know that?
Okay, wait a second. Can't erase it.
Take it off this whole paper.
Hang on. Okay, still.
Okay.
You're good. Here you go. Alright, if it says solve by completing the square, I want to see you completing the square. Excuse me. This is where you're going to want to move 48 to the other side. Minus. Hunter, talk us through while you're doing this, okay?
Alright guys, while I'm writing down the equation.
Good job.
Sorry.
Excuse me.
Alright,
Good.
first off, I'm gonna move this over to the side.
Right.
And then you're going to. There it is. I have that problem sometimes. And then you're going to. I don't know how to explain it. You're going to take half of this and then square root it, and then you're going to add it to both sides. So you're going to get.
Say that again.
You're going to take half of this and then square root it. Not square root, but square it.
Okay.
Got it. Square it. Then you're going to add it to both sides, so it's going to be 49 added to both sides.
Just go ahead and write plus 49 on both sides right now, so we'll see what you're doing.
You want me to like put it underneath or over here?
Now, just go ahead and write it in and let that be a separate step, and then you do the next step, because people might not follow you if you don't go ahead and write. Go ahead and write plus 49 on the left and plus 49 on the right.
That's what you want.
Yep. Now do the next thing that you're going to do at the next step.
You lost it there. Well, I just need a little.
And then you do like the two parentheses.
Yeah, it's x plus 7 equals 1.
What?
X plus 7 squared equals 1.
Where are you getting x plus 7?
Yeah.
But you gotta factor it, don't you?
You got to factor the left. Good.
So you look for
So you
49.
gotta do open parenthesis x plus
Oh,
7,
yeah, yeah.
close it, square it.
Plus 7 square, and then.
And I heard Demi say x plus 7 times x plus 7. So you may, if you're used to writing down your two sets of parentheses and then seeing that they're the same, and then the next step put in x plus 7 squared, that's fine. And then what is negative 48 plus 49?
It's gonna be positive 1.
Okay, good.
And then you're gonna square root both sides. So it's gonna be positive or negative. Square root of 1 is equal to x plus 7.
Perfect.
And then you're gonna do x plus 7 is equal to, I'm gonna say positive 1 here. And x plus 7 is equal to negative 1 here.
Good.
And you solve them, so it's gonna be x is equal to negative 6. And x is equal to negative 8. I'm sorry, hurry up.
Negative 8.
Negative 8.
That's what I'm gonna put. I'm done.
You said it.
Yeah.
Perfect. I think we need to spend a little bit, thank you, Hunter. I think we need to spend a little bit more time on completing
Yeah.
the square one. Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay. 80% did get it correct, but I have a feeling from what I've heard today is that a lot of people got it correct by, not by completing the square, but by using some other method. So make sure that you can solve this by completing the square.
I just forgot to do that.
Wait, what was the answer? D?
-6 and -8, which is D. Okay?
Okay.
All right, number 8. Solve using quadratic formula. This is where I want to see the quadratic formula work out. This will not be a multiple choice question.
You got negative b plus minus square root.
Yes, yes. Okay, the answer is A. Does anyone have any questions about that?
No, I'm trying to find my number.
Can you just type this one in regular or no?
No, you're gonna have to show that using the quadratic formula. You may
Yeah,
want to
can
do
you
that.
Yes.
Who wants to do it?
Oh, I don't wanna do it, I want you to.
I don't want to do it.
Well, I get confused at one of the steps.
Okay,
So I gotta figure out which step it is.
you don't know which one?
Yeah. It's towards the end though.
Quadratic equals negative b square root okay.
Okay. Who thinks they can show us how to do this?
So, can we just tell you
I know what A, B, and C is.
x equals 23 plus or minus,
Why'd you say 23, Chris?
because a negative 23 and a negative b equals a positive.
Alright, plus or minus square root of.
Negative 23.
Squared.
And you wanna make sure that when you're squaring that you're squaring a negative 23
That's what I.
and not doing a negative 23 squared. You wanna be squaring negative
Minus
23.
4, 5, negative 42.
Okay?
Over.
All over 2x. Now 2
Times 5.
times 5, that's
Two.
it.
Eight's 5.
It's 5.
I would mix 7, 8
I gotta calculate
together.
it right.
That's fine.
Good?
Yeah.
Right, did you figure out where you're making?
It's after this one.
It's after this step, okay? X equals 23 plus or minus the square root of 529. What is the square root of 529?
Wait,
But-
I didn't add the other stuff yet.
Yeah, it's 529. It's the square root of 529 is 23.
23.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta add the 840. Don't you?
So it's the square root of 1360.
Alright, yeah, you gotta add the 8 for it.
Sorry, I
I
thought
wasn't
that.
done, I was, sorry, my bad.
Sorry, 1369, how's that?
Square root of 1369. Square root of that is 37.
37, so 23
Plus or minus
plus or
37
minus 37
over 10.
over 10.
Okay.
Justin, what do I do here?
Well, you could do the addition or the subtraction part first, but either way, like you could do 23 plus 37, and that would get you 50. Or not 50, Am I doing that right?
60.
60. It's been a long day.
It's okay.
Over 10, which equals 6.
Alright,
Or,
and then Alex, what would you have to do next if you chose to do that first?
23 minus 37.
Which is?
Negative 14.
If you're okay.
Okay, so that's, what I was doing is, I
Thank you.
didn't remember to do that step.
Okay.
To do the both.
I expect these steps shown, I'll give you plenty of room, but on the problem that's gonna ask you to use the quadratic formula, you have to show this process, okay?
Okay.
Okay, number 9, quickly.
This one I'm confused on.
Okay. I hope we can look over those notes that we wrote over there on the board. Number 9. I know, but. Number 9, consider the discriminant to determine the number of solutions. So you're gonna have to find the discriminant. What's the discriminant? B squared minus 4AC. So just do B squared minus 4AC. If you get a negative, there are 2 imaginary solutions. If you get a positive, there are 2 real solutions. You get 0, there's 1
Does
real.
that mean the result of the square root of it or no?
No, you're just finding what goes underneath the radical. What do you think, Katie?
I don't know.
I got
28. Okay.
So that's a positive. So there's a true real solution.
Okay, you got a what?
I'm not negative. Oh, a negative. Negative. So it's A. Okay.
Okay.
I know.
You got negative 28, which is a negative number, right?
Yes.
I
Okay.
got 36.
You got 36. Let's see what you did. You got to type in calculator? Or did you do it by hand?
Negatives are imaginary.
Okay, b squared minus 4ac. Alright, so 2 squared is 4. Why did you switch it to plus 32 and not minus 32? It was. So it should be 4 minus 32. Okay, that's easy fix.
So what?
It's negative 28.
Okay, so I
Did
got
you get that?
Yeah.
And since you did negative 28,
I saw something else.
Oh, I did on that.
it's a negative, so it's two
Let's go
imaginary.
two imaginary, because it would be, you see the part of the quadratic formula here where the discriminant is at? If there's a negative under here, it's going to either be an I. You're going to get an I imaginary number solution. So it'll be plus, I'm sorry, sorry. Number 10. F of x equals 9x squared minus 2x minus 3. It doesn't matter how you solve this one. You choose a method, any method that you want, and go.
So does that mean we can
Wait.
put it in our calculator?
Yes.
This.
I don't know how to do that.
How?
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot how to do it. No,
I've never
I'm
done.
working on that a little bit more tomorrow. Okay.
what is that called? Like,
Not on the calculator.
yeah, what would you do?
Quadratic formula or completing this. I wouldn't do completing the square here because the ones that we've done have all had a complete coefficient one. That might not be what you want to use here, but if you use quadratic formula, if it's factorable, which this is not, I don't think so. Okay, the answer here is B. All right, number 11. We just spend some time on 11.
Did you have to count that on the calculator? Or was
No,
it?
you could have.
No, but it's like,
Wait, was
it
it
was
not?
just making it easy to type in calculator if you have an ACT.
It is.
Okay.
But you can't use the ACT program for this problem.
I don't have to figure out.
Okay, so we need to find some other way to solve this problem. There's a couple of ways.
All you have to do
Yeah.
is put it in your y equals and minus 0.
There you go. That's a way.
For this one?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
You can use the y equals your calculator to graph this function and see exactly where this graph is crossing the y-axis. There's one option. What's another option?
Can you do that with them all?
For number 11?
You can do that with them all, unless there's imaginary roots, and then they won't ever cross the x-axis, so you can't find that
Do you use
answer.
the quadratic formula?
You can use the quadratic formula in a way. You see how this is z to the 4th minus 7z squared plus 10? I'm going to make z squared equal to u. So instead of this being z to the 4th, I'm going to make it u squared. Minus, this would be 7u plus 10.
Wait, what happened?
So
to
where's
z
the other
squared?
two?
What happened to
Well,
the
z squared
7z
equals
squared?
u.
Z
so-
squared is u. So this becomes u squared because it's z to the 4th.
Oh.
And this becomes 7u since u is z squared. And then I could use the quadratic formula. And when you do this, you get x is 5 and 2. So since
You know.
it's u. So z squared equals 5 and z squared equals 2.
Oh, okay.
So z is plus or minus the square root of 5 and plus or minus the square root of 2. That's one option. You can also factor this.
We're so
How do you factor z to the 4th by 7z squared plus 10? What would I put here and here? Z squared. What if I need two numbers that will multiply to be 10 and add up to a negative 7?
Negative 5, negative 2.
Good. Set both of these equal to 0, and then you can solve using square roots. Add 5,
Square root of 2.
and then square root it, and then add 2. You just can't use the quadratic formula program if it's not a quadratic. You can convert it to a quadratic expression or equation. So there are 4 roots. All right, number 12. Last one, and then I'll give you answers. to use the quadratic model, y equals negative 11x squared plus 350x to represent how many units y of a new product will be sold x weeks after its release. How many units can you expect to sell in week 21? So what are we plugging in? Are we substituting for the weeks or the units? Weeks. We know the weeks are 21. Weeks are x. So plug in 21 for x. And C is correct. All right, let me give you the answers. What I'm going to do later today is I'm going to send you a survey link that asks which questions you need to spend more time on tomorrow, based on the answers that you got and the correct answers and where you feel like you need a little bit more help. Okay?
Is there a none section?
That's fine. You don't need it. Okay, number 13. 13. The answer is D.
Some of it's not that.
14 is B. 15 is D. 16A. 17C. 18B. 19B. 20B. 21A. 22D. 23D. 24B. 25C. 26B. 27D. 28B. 29D. 30B. And 31D.
I had this one.
You didn't miss any?
No, he gave me 25.
I gave you 25 Oh.
He did give me like 10 minutes.
Oh, thank goodness. Hey, the last, right before you start